going to brew another batch of beer. So this time I'm going to do an Indian Pale Ale, an IPA. So it's 4.8% alcohol. It'll make 23 litres. Again, it was around about 26 to 28 pounds for the pack. So it's in that same price range. So again, it'll probably work out about 80 pence for a pint of beer, basically. So again, it's quite good value for money. So in this one, you get your instructions. You get the liquid, the main base liquid that you'll mix up to 23 litres. Now this one's slightly different. We got some beer yeast, but also we got some hops that will be put in. I think it's about 4 to 7 days after you've started brewing. So that'll be added in at a later date as per the instructions. I won't go through in detail how I'm making it. Have a look at my first video for that, but I'll just show you some shots during the whole process, and obviously the tasting at the end, which is the most important thing. So it's about 1.0014, so that's in the range of where we want. So I think that's all right now to start drawing off and bottling in the next couple of days, I would say. Okay, so that's all the soldiers ready to be lined up. They've all got the brewing sugar, so that's in this recipe, it's just 1 teaspoon. That's for the secondary fermentation. They've all been sterilised, washed, sterilised, with the sugar in, ready to go. I've also sterilised all the caps, ready to go on. So I decanted into a second bucket. A lot of instructions may not even mention a second bucket. I just like to do that because it just gets rid of that first, I guess, filtering and that. Don't forget when you start to pour, this has all been sterilised as well, this little extraction tube. Don't forget when you start to pour is to make sure there's an air gap, otherwise it'll stop. You'll think there's something wrong, so just make sure there's an air gap in, or loosen the lid as well. I'll probably do both. So I'll just take the airlock out and that'll stop a vacuum so it'll flow nicely, which is the next part of the job. Start to fill up there, and then we're ready. Always make sure you don't fill right to the top, it needs an air gap, otherwise you'll probably cause it to explode, so I'm always go to the neck around about here. That's the first one. You don't have to be too precise. I've always got a drip tray underneath because there'll always be a little drip. And away we go. Probably do about 40 to 45 bottles, I reckon. That's 23 litres. It's very satisfying pouring your own beer into your bottle. It looks fairly clear, I have to say, already. This is a paler, lighter ale compared to the last one. I think I might prefer the lighter ale actually. It'll be about 4 to 5% of alcohol. So it's a normal standard that you'll get in a pub. You can get stronger ones. I have done them up to, I think, 6 to 7. Brewdog do. I think it's Brewdog. Anyway, there's basically a double IPA. That was actually quite nice, but it is quite strong. Unfortunately, it's not smell-o-vision, but that's a beautiful smell. So you can see, I don't know if you can see, so the reason I do the second pour into another tub is I get rid of all that first fermentation mash that you get in the bottom, whereas this is fairly clean, and therefore I don't run the risk of getting any of that sediment either stirred up into the bottles, which might make it tainted or make it more cloudy. So I do think this second pouring is definitely something to do. Then I just leave it to stand overnight. I don't do it the same day. I siphoned it off yesterday into the second bucket, and then the following day I'll bottle it. I won't leave it any more than a day in this other sterilised bucket. Make sure you sterilise everything, of course. So I got 44 pints out of that, 44 bottles, 500ml bottles. So that's pretty good going. It looked pretty clear as well, so I'm quite hopeful for this one. I've gone back to the brewing sugar from the brewing tablets. In the first instruction video I did, I actually used the droplets, but I found they were inconsistent in size. Well, that means you're going to get inconsistent sugar. So I prefer to go back to the brewing sugar with a teaspoon, or the exact measure, whatever the instructions say, as I think that might just give me a more consistent brew, I think. Because some bottles in the last one were, as I think I said, they were a bit fizzy. So I think that might be to do with the second fermentation. So it'll be interesting to see how these come out. So now it's just going to cap them off with crown caps. So what you'll see as I'm starting to bottle and cap these off, I use crown caps on them, is that sometimes as you start to put the bottle pressure down on it, you can feel that the cap will just slip a bit. When I first did my first brew, I was just throwing away the caps each time, and I was probably getting a 50% hit rate. So if just as it starts to go, if you ever get that, just purely reset the cap and go again. I hardly throw any caps away now, so it's just a little tip there, because otherwise you'll end up spending a lot of money on caps that you actually are all right if you just reset it. You'll see probably as I go along, I'll try and capture that on video what I do. So again, all the caps have been sterilised. Really important, anything that comes in contact with the liquid itself, the beer itself, is to sterilise. So they've been sat in the same sterilising liquid, and purely you put the cap on, and then you put this on like that, and you put an even pressure. As I said, let's just see how this one goes. You just constant pressure down, and that one's gone on okay. So that one's gone on perfect, that one has. Let's see if I can get one that skews slightly so I can show you. Yeah, that one's just gone. You can see it just went, so I just reset and go again. And therefore it's gone on perfect. So it just sort of skews over slightly. As you can feel it go, just let it go and reset it back down again. This is just a cheap capping machine. I'm sure there's more expensive ones, but it does the job. There you go. Just an even slow pressure and it goes. Okay, so that's 43 bottles in fact of beer all capped, and according to the instructions you need to keep it in the warmth now for at least 1 week, so I'll probably leave it for 2 weeks to do that secondary fermentation. Then you move it into the cool, so I'll move it down into probably into the garage in a week or 2 weeks, 10 days time, something like that. So that's all done. So like I said, it's a great hobby. I really enjoy the hobby. So if you're looking for something to do, save money, enjoy creating something. I know it's only a kit. I'm no professional by any means. I'm just an amateur, and I found my way with it, following the instructions. I think sterilisation is the key thing. The main thing is to enjoy it. And like I said, even if they come out a little fizzy at times, it's not bad beer. Just let it just settle down, let the fizz go away, pour it, leave it. It's just one of those things you've got to leave. And I've not yet had a really bad batch where I've thrown the whole batch away. I've had the odd bottle where I didn't like it maybe towards the end of the batch. I am getting better at it, I think, because some of that might be I'm trying to pour every last drop out of the barrel, and therefore you get a couple of bottles where perhaps it's cloudier at the bottom. So I think I just need to be prepared to perhaps do 40 to 42 bottles instead of 44 bottles or something like that maybe. But you learn, but it's great fun, so give it a go. So it's about 2 weeks now after I bottled. I left it in the warmth for about a week and then put it down in the cool for about a week. Which is the earliest you want to drink. To be honest, I'm not going to drink it other than I just want to open it and just see if that batch is okay. And then I'll probably leave it for probably another 4 weeks really. So we'll just give it a go. So we get the shush. And the good news is I'm not getting any over frothing that's coming up. So I'm just going to pour now. I've lost my glass at the moment because I'm doing the kitchen up. So I'm just going to pour into 2 small glasses. It's looking okay. It's still a bit cloudy, so it definitely needs a bit longer. Yeah, it definitely needs a bit longer. It's still cloudy a bit. That's going to taste alright, that is. Still needs a bit more fermentation, still needs a bit more in the bottle just to clear it down again, but that tastes nice. So another successful batch.